Hey everybody, so welcome back. I'm so glad that you're here. If you're coming back, and if you're new, please consider hitting the subscribe button, leaving a comment, or pressing the like button.
Inexplicable, I can feel it in the air. Can you feel me?
With further ado, I'm just going to get into what I'm here to talk about today, and that is Get Your Teach On, the digital conference, which was something I attended last week, I'm pretty sure. So I took some notes. I wanted to share my key takeaways with you. I wanted to also let you know that I did only go to day 2 of the conference. And if you don't know what Get Your Teach On is, it's a really good opportunity to grow professionally and to just get some insight and get excited about the upcoming school year. So that is what I did, and I was super excited because the first speaker that I got to see was the keynote speaker, Mr. Dave Burgess himself. And I'm pretty sure if you've watched any of my previous videos, you know that I am a huge fan of Dave Burgess and his methods of teaching and his style of bringing fun and engagement into the classroom. So I'm going to go over a little bit about what I learned from Dave Burgess's speech. I have it here on my iPad. So we got this notebook, and I was able to take notes for the conference on this notebook. So you'll see me kind of scanning through my iPad a little bit. So as far as Dave Burgess goes, the main thing is to restructure questions and the way you're asking things. So for example, can I get my students outside for this lesson? It's a yes or a no, and if you automatically think no, then the whole thing is shut down in your head, right? You're like, I guess I can't. Walk away from it. But if we were to ask how, instead of can, we would get different permutations of all of the possibilities and all of the ways we could get our students outside for this lesson. And another thing he said was, if you're going to take this opportunity to make the jump and be that engaging, fun, crazy, but promoting so much learning to your students, you're gonna be seen as the purple cow. You know what I mean? Sea of goldfish, you're gonna be the rainbow fish. What I kept hearing repeatedly was be yourself and don't worry about what others are saying or doing, and don't go with the status quo, if I want to quote High School Musical. You know what I mean? Another thing he touched on was something I've been wondering about: the restructuring of homework. I mean, homework, it's like such a downer in the day. You know what I mean? Nobody liked homework. When you were a kid, you did not like homework. And if you did, okay, kudos to you. But most of us, we didn't like homework. And then when Billy asked the teacher,
hey, are we going to turn in our writing homework?
And you're like, come on, Billy, we almost made it through. I know you had those moments. I know you did. So please remember to make your homework, as according to Dave Burgess, exciting for your students and an opportunity for them to dig deeper into what they already learned. So get them excited about something in class. Don't throw a wrench in it before they leave the door by telling them this is what you have to do. Have them do something at home with this information that expands their learning. Give them choices. So what I was thinking was doing a homework menu, and maybe I can say, you can write an essay, you can draw a picture and label it, or you can create a video response, something like that, to show that they're understanding the concepts and they're practicing them further, but they're not just sitting there with a piece of paper and their pencil and going and wanting to just play outside, so they're writing down anything they can just to get out there, right? We got to make it exciting and keep the momentum of the new information that they're gaining. So I'm going to move on to Chris Palm Bao. I love his last name. First of all, hello, that's such a cool name. But second of all, he made some really good points about daily progress monitoring, which is something that we're all like, what? Daily progress monitoring? Geez Louise, I already have to keep track of all these kids and make sure they're all on the right track and individualize their plans, and now I have to keep up with them daily. So we do this regularly with formative assessments, exit tickets, blah, 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 blah. But his way and his method was to always carry around his clipboard. And I guess this started with his administration asking him, like, hey, Chris, where's your clipboard? And he was like, what do you mean? It's like somewhere over there, he said. So the main thing was clipboard. Okay, anyway, so he said have a clipboard and have these little sheets on it, and I will insert how they look or put them on a side by side so you can see what I'm talking about, and I'll show you at the end a little bit more in-depth look. But have these sheets so you can check while you're walking around the students and seeing what they're doing, walking around the classroom, you're surveying how the students are adhering to the information. So do they get it? Are they almost there? Do they need a little bit of help, or do they not get it at all? If they don't get it at all, you have 4 students in there that are just not getting it. That, at the end of the day, pull them back with your small group or plan for the next day small group. But we're talking about catching the student in the moment before they fall, and you have to intervene to pick them back up, right? And so he said a big thing was changing the word intervention, because intervention is catching somebody after they fall and then intervening to get them back to where they need to be. We want to accelerate student learning from the point they are starting at on a daily basis. And there's very easy ways to do this with the trackers that he showed, and they are very, very simple. I will show you the one that was most inspiring to me. I will go ahead and show you that example at the very end of this video, or it's the one that I have posted side by side here. And then there was fireballs and exploding sodas, which I was like, have to watch this. Steve Spangler did an amazing job. He had a lot of tips and tricks to engage your students in the most random ways, I will say. So cool, the things that he did. I mean, I was just like, and if I was like, then your kids are going to be like, so rewind. The main point, the message was to acknowledge your students and to engage them in digital learning as well as in classroom learning. And this was very specific to what is going on today in the world. And so engage them by doing fun and random little things, right? Be silly, step out of your comfort zone, okay? So the first one he got was a popcorn, it was like a slim glass or plastic, clear, put some popcorn kernels inside, stuck a yellow ping pong ball down inside of there, could be white, could be blue, whatever, and then twist the cap on. Then he takes a steel ball bearing, reopens that cap, puts in the steel ball bearing, and then goes, ooh, don't ever put a steel ball bearing in popcorn because there's quite the reaction. And he spins it around like this. After he replaced the cap, he spins it around like this, and the ping pong ball shoots up to the top, and the steel ball bearing secretly, mysteriously turned into a ping pong ball. We all know that it just went down into the popcorn kernels, but your students will be like, oh my goodness. And that's how I was like, oh my goodness, it was so cool. I wanted to watch it over and over again. And it's just something, he just said a thing to just start a discussion or to just get kids excited. Well, another thing he did was he got a styrofoam cup, and he previously poked a hole in it and just said, oh kids, this is a styrofoam cup. And he started doing this to his hair with the styrofoam cup, and he was like, if I rub it for long enough, then it'll create enough static electricity for me to make it float. He gets the styrofoam cup and he rubs it, and he tries to let go. Nope, doesn't happen. Rubs it, tries to let go, doesn't happen. He has his finger stuck through the hole, and it's floating. And it was just so cool. I was like, oh my gosh, I already knew kids would love this, because they're gonna go home and they're gonna tell their parents or grandparents or guardians, oh my gosh, our teacher can do magic, and it's going to be something so cool. So he also mentioned that if you can make it to the dinner table, or what you did in the classroom can make it to the dinner table, you won. Okay. And so that was his main purpose. And then he also did one where he took 2 cans of water, and he was relating all of this to learning as well. Took 2 cans of sparkling water, shook them up really, really, really hard. And he was like, I bet you don't want me to open them. He said, you might see a lot of people tap the top and think they're dispersing the bubbles back down to the inside so they can pop that thing open, no explosions. He said, but the trick is to tap the sides. And he goes and taps the sides all over the can, and then he opens it, crack, perfect crack, nothing. But then he dumps out the soda, and he takes the 2 cans and he puts a little bit of water in the cans, and he puts them on the stove to heat them up. And then when they start to create water vapor, he takes them off with some tongs, flips them over into the bowl of water, and the cans crush. And again, my son was watching this with me. He was amazed. I was amazed. It was really, really cool. And I know that kids would be amazed too. All right, guys. So those were a few of the things I learned from Get Your Teach On conference. And I'm going to take this time now to show you a few of things that I've been inspired to make. So as far as the Chris Bombano thing goes, you would put your students' names over here, and then you would walk around. Let's say they were working on finding the area or something. So finding the area, and he said that one big thing you want to do is put your goal up here. So maybe you would put like students will be able to find the area or something like that. 1 would equal that they got it. 2 would be that they are almost there. And 3 would be that they need help. Okay. So you could go and put a check mark under whichever one. So let's say I go over to Meg and I'm like, oh, okay, she got it. And then I'm walking over to Molly, and Molly's like, I need help with this one. I don't really understand it. So I will put here because she doesn't understand it. That's what she indicated. But I will circle it to say that I've now provided her with help in the moment. And Christy just needs help, so I'm going to leave that for another time. Then Sasha got it, and Mark, he's almost there, but he didn't ask me for help in the moment. Christian needs help as well. So I'm going to take these 3, and we're going to go do a little small group instruction, okay? So that's how this chart would work, and this is very easy to mimic on Google Docs. You just do your student name and a 1, 2, 3. And another thing I created was just this editable lesson planning kind of organizer. So I left the cover blank because you can make it look however you want. Here is the outline of the unit plan, days 1 through 9. Who knows? Your unit could only be 3 days long or 2 days long, or maybe it's 8 days long. But you may not need all these spaces, but I did just leave them there for anybody that will need them. I will show you how I covered up some of them that I didn't use when I go on. And then I left a space for vocabulary and assessment rubrics here. And this is editable. You would just download it, and then you can easily edit it in Google Slides. And it is an 11 by 8.5, so that way it could go sideways or landscape in a binder, and you could keep all this together. I made my own little cover, and I just put ELA lesson plans, and then I went down here, and this is my first week of ELA for the next school year. So I put the date, I put the subject, and the concept is reading, context clues, and simple sentences. I put my standards down here. And the way that I did that was I put a text box that was white, filled in with a white color, to cover up the days that I had there, 7, 8, and 9. I just covered them up, and I put my standards there. I put my vocabulary on the next page, as well as my spelling words. And then I put some of the things I will be using, like some of the worksheets. So we'll be using a Venn diagram, and we'll be using the story structure sheet. And then I just went on to do the next, maybe the next week. And I used Canva to create all of these outlines. So if you're interested in this outline, it will be on my TPT for free, and you can download it and access it and work on it if you would like.
All right, guys, thank you for watching, and I hope that you have a great day. If you get the chance, please subscribe, and I will see you next time.